So can you explain to me or explain to them what it felt like to lift the kneecap differently from what you were thinking before?
Well, before I was thinking of the kneecap like one unit, like one piece, and lifting it up was like a light switch, like pop, like you just lift it up. But the way we practiced, I almost felt, I did feel a sensation of almost like little fibers.
Okay.
It felt like more, I don't want to say subtle, but like just maybe minute or smaller awareness.
Right.
So it just wasn't all or nothing, like on or off. It felt like active. Like I was working like something.
Like this instead of like this.
Yes.
And that's the thing about the knee. The knee is a joint that likes to move fast.
Yeah.
Right? So if you say straighten it, it wants to go like this.
Yeah.
So that's that idea of constantly kind of activating and lifting energetically is that's what you're after.
And you kept emphasizing the foot, feeling the heel to the ground and the ball of the foot, the fourth toe. So I was actually working against something. It wasn't just lifting up, lifting. I was able to activate that because I had something to pull against.
Right, and it grounds you. So if you have to think, you can't keep lifting everything. So it's like your anchor, your heel is kind of like your anchor that you can pull down against, and then that goes up. Otherwise, everything is just going like, bam.
Yeah,
right?
True. That's happened in class.
Right, even when you straighten one leg,
it's happened. Rond de jambe, boom.
Oh, right. So you want to think
where the knees go.
Instead of going like this, you want to think of something pulling down, then there's an opposition, so it can't just snap.
Right.
Anything else? Was there a difference in
pelvis? My pelvis working this way, it helps me to maintain a neutral pelvis instead of tucking. It's really hard.
Isn't it funny? It's almost like you can't. So this is my concept. The body is obviously a system of systems, right? The muscular system, the skeletal system, all that. So it's a muscular system. So for me, it's like an electrical system, and it's like a fuse box. So if one thing is off, like you know how like when your fuse box goes off, or like you go like the lights are on in the kitchen, but it's dark in the bathroom, but you know something's not working, but you have to go and you flick the things, and you go like, oh, okay, everything's working harmoniously, and the whole house is lit. You have to make sure your whole house is lit. So when your knees are back, then your pelvis is shut down. You just can't do it. So once you start to fire that up, certain things aren't allowed to happen, and they want to be balanced.
Exactly.
You know?
And I found that true in parallel and with rotation.
So in the parallel, that leg is the leg that you use to do flat backs with. So the people who are hyperextended, and they go like, usually when you do, like if you practice Horton, then you do all those the flat back series, and sometimes even the lateral series can get that back of the knee. You're like, ooh, I'm jacked up, because you keep pressing into it. But the idea that you're lifting in the front of the knee, right? But you're extending not from the knee down, but from the heel, keeps you grounded as you go forward, so that you're not slamming back and you're not bent, because you can't do a flat back with a bent knee. You can plie, but a soft knee, you'll just fall over. Right?
And I don't think I've tried.
Somebody tried out there. Right? But that's the leg that you use in parallel. That is standing in parallel. For people who are hyperextended, when you're parallel, you can't relax your leg. You see what I'm saying? When you're standing just in neutral parallel, like you're waiting to go, you can't sit back in your hyperextension. You have to lift up your kneecap constantly.
Which is annoying.
But
I think with time of practicing, it would become
easier
and natural.
Right. Anything else?
There was something. It was, I know when I'm working in a way that's not productive with my hyperextension, when my hamstrings are on fire.
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very interesting how balanced the body is and wants to be. It really is. And so once you change one thing, you almost don't have to worry about it. Because once you change one thing, you're going to start to notice that something that, like my pelvis is off. It just feels funky. And then once you can figure out the pelvis, you'll go like but my back, there's something not right in the placement of my back. And then that's how you know you're kind of balancing the body. When the body is balanced, you don't feel anything. You don't feel counterbalanced or pulling. Like if you really do a headstand, have you ever done a headstand?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how there's a point where you're like trying to find the balance,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a point where you're in balance and you don't feel anything at all.
Right. Weightless feeling.
Weightless, and it's kind of freaky. I don't like that feeling. It freaks me out. But when you are in perfect balance, like if you're like releve passe balance, it doesn't feel like anything. The struggle is in trying to get to the balance and either counterbalancing. So that's why when your body becomes more balanced, or areas of it become more balanced or aligned, you start to feel like, whoa, you become aware that something else is off. When it is right, it's effortless, and it should be in a way. Anything else? I'm gonna thank Miss Hand. Give Miss Hand a hand.